what did he say?
He said that he thinks that the parents should take care of it. The state shouldn't be involved.
He said, pull it up right now. I've seen it.
You can pull it up, but that's what he said. He said the state should not be involved.
No, bro, you're a victim to the same thing everybody else going through, just getting sucked in by these reels, dog. He's named all these different avenues, these different ways of children to receive food.
See, here's the thing. He's just a bootlicker. He's just an Uncle Tom. He's just a Charlie Glazer, because he can't even articulate the argument. That's why he keeps saying, no, you just got to go watch the video. No. You see, if you watch the video the way Charlie explains it, it makes a whole lot of sense. But I can't do it for you. I can't articulate it. See, it's one thing if you heard it from Charlie and you're like, damn, that shit makes sense. That's why I'm going to found my position on this logic. But you can't, because you don't even know it. That's the definition of being a grifter. How can you believe in something you can't even articulate? It's not possible. Debate ABBA and Stevie Knight, aka Night Talks, on Charlie Kirk. Yes, sir. Video by ABBA and Preach. Looks like Night Talk and ABBA had a little back and forth on the internet. And so now they've decided to settle it like men intellectually with a debate. Okay, let's run this.
So let's get started. So Stevie, you watched our video and you had some critiques for it. So yeah, let me know what you think we was getting wrong in regards to how we handled this Charlie Kirk situation.
Well, I want to keep what I felt was wrong towards the end, but leading up to that, I just think it's a differing in opinions, which is fine. That's what we're here for, man. But I think if I can recall correctly, the beginning of it.
Right. Now to give you a little bit of a backstory here, Night Talks, or we'll just call him Stevie going forward. Stevie here is a conservative. He's on the right. He is very much a fan of guys like Charlie Kirk and Matt Walsh and all of that. And so that should let you know who you're dealing with here, right? Okay.
Or like you were talking about how the right wants to, or we need to tone it down. Or I don't want to say we, right?
Nah, you should say we. You should say we. Why you don't want to claim it? Claim that you're on the right, bro. Stand on it. Claim that you're conservative. You're a black conservative, which we know what that means.
And on the right versus the left. You know what I mean? And you felt a way about, I'm assuming what your intent was, just focus on the right. Now we need to tone it down, and we're doing the same thing that the left was doing, bro. And where I differ in opinion with you as far as this whole situation is that I don't think anything should be toned down if we're highlighting, if we're focusing on the right people. You know what I'm saying? I think that the right versus left is being overhyped, which makes sense because we're divisive as hell in society, man. But the demons are demoning. You know what I mean? And regardless if it's right or
the demons, huh?
Or left, I feel like these people need to be held accountable, and we need to zero in on these individuals. And I don't think a toning down at all will work, given the climate.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna say I felt some type of way at the beginning when we're focusing on, like, the emphasis of your video was to highlight Charlie, and then you were trying to compare it to other things that may have happened that were similar.
Sure.
And I think that's taking attention away from, the elephant in the room, which is Charlie Kirk situation, which we never had a situation like this happen ever, because of the social media and the fact that everyone was able to see it. You know what I'm saying? And that makes the situation a whole lot different than...
I mean, what's the big deal if everyone was able to see it? Charlie Kirk said that we need to bring back public executions and at a certain age require children to watch it.
And you know what? I want to watch that execution. That'll make my day better. I want to see him on a public block and get him be publicly executed. And I think that would be justice. You think children should have... You should see it. What is the age? At what age should you start to see public executions?
That's what Charlie Kirk pushed. That's what Charlie Kirk thought. Why do you give a fuck that people saw him get, you know what I'm saying?
Anything that's happened in the past as far as a murder of this magnitude. And it seems that you were minimizing the impact of what happened to Charlie.
Okay.
And
What?
and
Yeah, go ahead.
well, I'm gonna keep rolling now. I'll let you.
No, go for it. If you're still on this one, I just didn't want to move from this topic, but
I don't want to roll out like 10 things and have you.
yeah. It's always better to go point by point. I think so.
Yeah, maybe we should go one for one.
Yeah.
So, it felt like, from my end, it felt like it was a right versus left type of thing, and you know what I mean. From how you were describing it, right's doing this, the left's doing this, and you're saying it's hypocritical of the right to be complaining about the same things that the left is doing, or what the right is implying that we're doing. And to me, it shouldn't be about that. It should be about, we isolate, the evil, the degenerate shit that's going on. And when we try to minimize or just bring up the comparison between Charlie Kirk and everything else, it minimizes the tragedy that everyone just witnessed and like the impact it had on everyone, man. So I feel like it's deflecting from it, and it's like
deflecting. He's just putting it into context, right? People on the right are trying to make it seem like this is the only act of political violence that has ended in the death of a political figure. Sure, he wasn't a politician, but the man had a lot of political influence and power and was posturing, getting ready to become a politician. God help the version of America where Charlie Kirk became president. God fucking damn it. That would have been horrible. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? We had the senator and the House of Representative who were shot in Minnesota. And that was an act of political violence. I saw people in the comment section saying that was an employee of Tim Walz. Who gives a fuck? Just as the right would say, it doesn't mean anything that the guy who killed Charlie Kirk grew up in a MAGA house, a full-blown MAGA house in a MAGA family. That doesn't matter. So here's the Wikipedia page, the 2025 shootings of the Minnesota legislators. Now look at what they have under motive. Federal charging documents described Boatler, I believe that's how you pronounce the name of the psycho who did this shit, as acting with the intent to kill, injure, harass, and intimidate Minnesota legislators. His anti-abortion views are a possible motive. Boatler, that's what we're going to call him, was registered to vote in Oklahoma as a Republican for the 2004 United States presidential election. Although on a state document in 2019, he wrote that he had no party preference. A long time now, of course, this is a extremist, and extremists typically don't like identifying with Republican or Democrat. They're too normie, they're too mainstream. So that means nothing. Notice he didn't switch from Republican to Democrat. A longtime sleepy-eye Minnesota resident who knew Boatler as a 4th grade student in his childhood town since 1976 told reporters he was stunned to learn that Boatler is a suspect in the attacks. Look at this. He described Boatler as a conservative who voted for President Donald Trump and was strongly against abortion rights. Now, because Charlie Kirk is filling up the heads of people with this nonsense that abortion is the equivalent to the Holocaust, you can see how that would get his crazy extremist followers to think, oh, I'm doing the Lord's work, I'm saving babies. When, of course, it makes no fucking sense. This is not how you change public policy if that's the position that you hold. So yes, a right-wing conservative who allegedly voted for Donald Trump and was publicly and very vocally against abortion rights went and shot 2 Minnesota legislators literally this year. So to put it into context, that's what we're doing. We're putting this in context here. Charlie Kirk is not a lone example of this kind of shit happening.
Charlie Kirk, his tragedy was important, but other things has happened, and the right was doing the same thing. So it's kind of like, no, it is to me, it's minimizing, what happened.
Got you. So I think there's 2 points in there. One being the hyper focusing on right versus left. You felt like we did that too much, and the second part is minimizing Charlie Dess's murder. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. So just to go to the first point. I did have that in my notes. I think in your video at around 2-minute mark, you said that I was minimizing Charlie Kirk's murder by comparing it to other political violences.
Wow.
Or like contextualizing it in the way that I was doing.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm minimizing it. I disagree with that characterization for a few reasons. I think I think it's natural when someone dies that we try to understand.
You didn't glaze him enough. You didn't gawk enough on Charlie Kirk's, you know what I'm saying? That's what Night Talk have a problem with, bro. You ain't give him the respect he deserve.
And why? That's why people love murder mystery. That's why people, every time someone dies, they want to know who the perpetrator is. They want to know who their motivations are, because murder is generally something that we see as incredibly heinous. And so understanding what led to that is always important. When I'm not comparing, this is not the right word. What I'm doing is that I'm explaining away how our society led to this moment and this man, because he wasn't murdered in a vacuum. This wasn't a crime of passion. This was an individual who's incredibly troubled, and he was and he decided to go out and murder somebody for their political opinions, their affiliation, maybe because they had mentally ill issues. Who knows?
Right.
But there's a landscape, and there's a lot of things that lead up to this murder. It's always important to examine these things, because if we don't understand how we got here, then we're going to be doomed to repeat it.
Exactly.
It's never, in my opinion, a bad thing to contextualize any world event, provided you contextualize it fully, right? That or at least you try to, because without context, then all that happened was that someone was shot. Context is everything.
Yeah.
Well, to
for
that
sure,
point,
for
that
sure.
makes total sense what you're saying, but to me, it didn't come across that way when you voiced that in the video. It seemed like you were trying to, highlight the divide between the right and the left, or whoever the instigators of it are. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't seem like you were trying to get to a root of the problem or how we trying to fix it. It's like, like I said before, I mean, what you're saying now, if you had voiced it that way in the video, I wouldn't have had the mindset that I have in regards to what you said. But in the video, it didn't.
He's already on the back foot. It's not looking good.
Come across to me like that at all. It felt like.
Well, right now, the pervasive narrative, and this is where it comes to the left versus right thing, the pervasive narrative that's
And he's drinking. Damn. Okay. All right. Real early too.
online, and that's being espoused by some of the most important people in our political, stratosphere, is that violence of a political nature is solely left wing. Okay. And I remember at about 3 minutes, 29 seconds, when Matt Walsh is talking in your video, you said that I was interpreting what he's saying. When he's talking about good versus evil, it's time for the righteous to prevail over the forces of evil.
Right.
You were saying that I was making a left versus right thing.
It
right?
is.
But that's just
Yeah, that's how Matt Walsh speaks.
not true.
Hold on, well, let me make a correction, because you go further on in the video. I recognize that point. I said, hold up, if Matt Walsh is doing that, highlighting the left like
He
this,
did.
that's unfair to do so. Then I went on to saying this makes the left look bad. It makes the transgenders look bad. It makes everybody affiliated to this look bad. It's like guilty by association. That's not the right thing to do. It should be a good versus evil thing, right? But then I went on, because you had a couple other videos of people uttering or echoing the same sentiments as far as, righteous and good and evil. But I did highlight Matt Walsh in that video specifically saying, all right, I see that he is describing the left in this manner, and that shouldn't be the move.
Right. But again, at about like 6 to 7 minutes in the video, you kind of do it again where you say that, that's how I'm interpreting a lot of this narrative of good versus evil. But it's not just Matt
Damn, he's thirsty.
Walsh. Ben Shapiro said that most of the political violence today is flowing from left-wing movements and ideology. Elon Musk was on Twitter, and he said the left is the party
Right,
of murder.
exactly.
If they won't let us live in peace, then our choice is to fight or die.
Right.
Alex Jones said the right-wingers are in a war during a live stream. And he said that the left has been put a bullseye on Trump, and he put a bullseye on his supporters. President Trump himself, during an interview, let's see here. Let me pull up the clip, because I think it's just important to me to get the exact words that he said. On Fox and Friends, he says, we have radicals on the right as well. And he says, I'll tell you how, I can send you the clip you wanted. I'm going to just read it verbatim, his quote.
I believe you, though, bro.
I'll tell you something that's going to get me in trouble, but I couldn't care less. The radicals on the right oftentimes are radical because they don't want to see more
The video just cut out. It is what it is.
crime. The radicals on the left are the problem. So when I'm talking about right versus left, I'm not talking about someone in a vacuum or someone at home. I'm talking about the most important people in our political discourse framing most of this violence as I only left.
Right.
And what you did in the video, and I did appreciate, is that when we said, if you look at the numbers, you know, people got mad because I quoted the ADL, but there's all sorts of things from FBI statistics to different organizations who track terrorist attacks.
Right.
Most of it comes from religious extremists and then right wingers. Left wingers at the bottom of that list, especially over the last 10 years. So I'm not trying to frame this as left versus right. That's the plate that's already been set. Since Charlie Kirk died, the right has not stopped politicizing his death. They haven't stopped using it for fuel for their attacks on the left. And so in that climate, you're asking people to not talk about left versus right, but if the left doesn't, then the just right gets to make the narrative that they're the violent ones. And it's just not true.
Well, my opinion is that both should submit. It's not a left and right thing. It's an evil versus good thing. You know what I mean? And that's, I mean, and then it's me watching you, so I'm expecting that to be that should be the point. You know what I mean? It's like what you're doing is adding just, you know, fuel to the fire to what you're saying everybody else is doing. Like you're highlighting the hypocrisy of people complaining about what the left does, essentially what the right is doing the same thing. You know what I mean? But you know, with that, like I said, with that the Matt Walsh clip, I specified.
Anytime highlighting hypocrisy is problematic to you, that means you're the one with a problem.
I definitely could tell he was highlighting the left. Well, all that shit is fucking wrong. And I said that in the video.
I agree.
I said that in the video, right? I said that it's not a left versus right thing. It makes everybody look bad. We need to focus on the motherfuckers actually making things horrible for everybody, the extremists, the radicals, all that. You know what I mean? That's what my focus was. I feel like that's what the focus should be for everybody.
Yeah, and I did have that noted in some of the things that I liked that you did. I did appreciate that you actually said that, because a lot of people are not saying that, or they're just avoiding the topic entirely. But you have to understand, when I'm watching this video, when I'm watching the discourse, I'm looking at things in totality. So when I'm talking about
what video are you talking about? When you say you're watching the video, what video?
I think I was looking at a lot of the political coverage in regards to this. I've been looking at the people who are responding, everyone who's been talking about this, and how the public is talking. If you spend time online, they're not talking about this as like both sides. That's not a lot of the discourse. A lot of the discourse, especially from the right, is that they're just saying essentially the left is the violent party. Go check out those comment sections. Go check out a lot of the discourse from the
big. That's going to happen every time that happens. Every time someone from the left does something crazy, they're going to highlight the left. When the right does something, they're going to highlight the fucking right. It just that comes with the territory.
Right. But it should be noted that we should correct those narratives and say that these are not one-sided things. If you watched our video, we didn't say violence is only right-wing. We said there's plenty of people who've murdered people.
If you don't do that, people continue to get radicalized. People continue to be deceived. You need to show somebody who might be on the brink of becoming radicalized, hey, no, look, it's the same on both sides. If you're going to say these people are evil because they're doing it, then you have to admit that you and your side is also evil. Gets people to slow down, calm down, and realize that they are being lied to.
From the left.
And manipulated.
And we said that. But the dominant narrative right now is that left-wingers are the violent ones. And they're obviously, especially with the most recent murder, it makes sense that it's going to be the dominant narrative. But it's important to not let those lies be able to be spread. And to say, actually, guys, you're wrong. In fact, this year there's been other people.
Why does his face look like this? He has a problem with someone trying to stop lies from being spread? That's insane.
You said we were minimizing his death by bringing up these other murders, but those deaths are part of this discussion. The same thing that led to those people being killed is the exact same thing that led to Charlie Kirk being killed. And it's important to know that, because if we don't understand that, then all this is just going to happen again. You said it was different in your video because Charlie Kirk died on camera and nobody was supposed to see that. You remember that you saying that?
Yeah.
Right. To me, I understand that the fact that he died on camera makes it much more graphic, much more in your face. But at the end of the day, murder is murder. Dying is dying. Someone is victimized.
But it's the effect that it has on society. It's not the same. In a vacuum.
You are defending a man that wants public executions and he wants children to watch. Anything you say for the rest of this argument is moronic, because you're now defending a man who wants something that you're making a big deal out of.
It's the same, but if people were able to see that video until the end of time now, right, they're able to see that man go out the way that he did, and knowing up until this, I can't compare someone else that had the amount of influence Kirk had. You know what I mean? And to have, if he hadn't been murdered in front of everyone at once, your analogy, your comparison will be fair, man. But
okay, can I ask you something?
You can't minimize
if Kirk was not killed on camera, if Kirk's not killed on camera, Is this situation more or less tragic?
It's less tragic.
So dying on camera makes a murder worse?
No, not the murder worse, but the effect that has on the people is worse because everybody can see it.
It makes it different. It makes it different. But from a moral standpoint, it's the exact same. There's no difference in morality. It's just more shocking.
It's a different conversation. I'm just talking about tragedy. Morality is the same. I'm talking about the effects it's having on society.
Yeah, but if I'm talking about other murders, I'm talking about other murders, I'm talking about the moral
The
aspect.
effect it had on society. Charlie Kirk wants public executions. This guy's crazy.
Of it. But that doesn't mean that we can't contextualize it with those other murders. You say it's not comparable, but I disagree. They died for the same reason. They died for the exact same reason.
If you had related that way, trying to bring up the similarities and how you conveyed it just now, it would make more sense. But that's not at all how you conveyed it in the video. It came from, you know, a leftist bias type of perspective from my end, that you were trying to minimize it by bringing up other similarities. You didn't bring up you didn't bring anything up about it being moral or same morally. You were just saying, to summarize it, you know, Kirk died, everybody else died, and this happens with political violence.
Yes, because what I'm getting at is not how he died, or like in front of who that he died. What I'm focused on is why was he killed. Okay, so let me say I agree
which
with
is
you.
the
Let's do a
thing
different
that
example. Let's say I
actually
agree with
matters.
you. These are different to a degree. So what's your point? Shouldn't contextualize his murder?
Well, in your video, it didn't feel like you were contextualizing. If I felt personally that you contextualized it, trying to get to the root of a problem, then we wouldn't be here today. But I felt like your intent was to minimize Kirk's death by bringing up all these things that happened.
I would argue that you are minimizing his death by not contextualizing it properly.
Right.
If you don't talk about why something happened and how we got here, then all you're doing is just describing a tragedy.
I'm not talking about why. I'm just focused on your video.
Yes, but if you're going to counter my narrative and say that I'm wrong for contextualizing it the way that I did, or you don't like the way I
No,
contextualized
but you're saying you're contextualizing it now. When I watched it, I didn't think you were contextualizing it.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's your problem. That's an issue with your brain and your ability to comprehend. It was incredibly clear that that's what Abba was trying to do by bringing up the fact. I mean, you don't need to be a rocket scientist. Charlie Kirk is dead. He is killed, allegedly, by someone on the far left. The right-wing media tries to make it seem like this only happens in that direction. They are then using that as a means of getting people angry, getting people upset, radicalizing people, pushing people further to the right, trying to get, you see it. Stop pretending like you don't see all this narrative about civil war, this, and a war is coming. It's we are at war. It's a fight. Right? That's all that bullshit going on the right, man. And then Abba is like, hey, just so you know, y'all do this shit too. And also, you do it way more. Like the grand majority is y'all. So what's good with that? What's up with that? Does that then mean that your ideology is actually the more dangerous one? That's it. That's all that he did. Very simple. But you don't like that because it makes you feel bad, because Charlie Kirk, the shine is coming off of him. Everybody should only talk about Charlie because he was such a great man, and this is so sad, and I miss him so much.
You're minimizing it.
That's fair. I disagree with that. I think I talked about how we got here. I definitely said that in the video. I talked about the fact that there's been a string of political violence over the last 10 years and that this is not a shocking outcome. Kirk being assassinated is not the craziest thing. There's a reason why he had security. There's a reason why I think he was wearing a bulletproof vest. There's been threats on these people.
He was wearing that's crazy. Oh my God. Bro felt so safe with that shit on too. God damn, that's crazy. He even tried to protect himself from getting shot. And damn, bro, the neck shot, man. He didn't see that coming. Who would have, right? Who could? The neck shot? That's a small target. Crazy.
So we have to take that into consideration, understand that this is not something that happened that is out of this world. Even Kirk himself realizes this is a possibility. There's a reason why everyone who does these...
I get your point, but that's not at all my argument, bro.
But that's what I was talking about. That's what I was talking about.
What is your argument?
For sure.
Well, I mean, I didn't receive that on mine. If I felt like you were contextualizing it, then, you know, we're on the same wave as far as, you know, this is what happens when, you know, politics get off the rails. But in the video, like I said, I thought that you were just minimizing it by comparing it to everything else. I didn't feel like there was any contextualizing there. So just got to agree to disagree.
Yeah.
And I've watched the video probably 3 more times because, you know, we're having this
And it still took you this long to understand? That's crazy.
conversation today, man. And I didn't get it all that you were contextualizing it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't say that. I was saying those words exactly, contextualizing it, but I think that is what I was doing. But again, we could agree to disagree.
Yeah, man.
So
trying to be on the right, trying to be a conservative is such a difficult task, man, in terms of trying to make it all work intellectually.
were, I think, your first 2 disagreements that you had with me. Yeah, you could definitely let me know some other ones that you had for sure.
And I mean, I just get to the meat and the potatoes now, man, because do you feel like you manufactured a narrative on Kirk by showing those snips of him in your video?
Yeah, okay, we can address that because I did have that in my notes as well. I think around like the 20-minute mark, you said I took him out of context, right?
Not even take him out of context. You put your context on it because if you let it play, I put the additional clips on it.
Okay, so just for the viewer, there's a clip that we played, maybe 15 seconds of Kirk on a Jubilee panel. He's talking to somebody. This is a panel about Christians versus, or is it right-wingers versus lefties? I don't remember what it was.
I don't know, but it was about abortion.
Okay, it was about abortion, right?
Right.
And Kirk is a very Christian, self-proclaimed Christian. Everybody knows this about him. So in that clip, the woman is asking him a hypothetical where he says, if your 10-year-old daughter was raped, okay, would you force her to keep the child?
Right.
Is that a fair assessment of the clip?
Yeah.
And then Kirk says yes.
He said yes. The baby will have the baby, or my girl will have the.
Okay.
child.
And then you said that we were kind of dishonest with how we did that. That we clipped him out of context, and then we put our own.
Bro, how can you? I guess this dude don't got kids. This man must not have kids. This Night Talks dude, I don't know. He got a white chick too, bro. Have you ever seen what a pregnancy does to a woman's body? In terms of just everything. Not only is it such a burden on a grown woman to carry that child, it's cruel to make a child. It's cruel to make even a teen girl under the age of 16 try to carry a pregnancy. Their risk of dying is so much higher. So not only is it cruel to do, and it's such a painful burden on the body of a child, but on top of that, her body will be changed forever. It will be something. It's something she's going to have to explain to her husband. Her first child won't be with her husband. She got to explain to her husband why her stomach's all stretched out, and because her father forced her to have a baby when she was 10. But not only that, then is constantly advocating for a government in the Middle East that is actively slaughtering children by the thousands. You want me to believe that man has any form of moral consistency? Oh my God, he was a demon.
Context, right?
No, I'm not saying you put your own context. You didn't put the entire context.
Okay.
Like you said, you led into it by saying, I think I'm not going to speak. I'm going to recite you verbatim, but it was essentially, I think that Kirk has said some disgusting things as well.
Yes.
And
I played that clip.
Videos.
Yeah. So let's just talk about that first clip, because I remember you taking that first clip and being really shocked. I think, let me just see here. Because I did have that in my notes here. Oh yeah. You said that, that was really surprising that you were shocked coming from me, and you called me the king of receipts.
Yeah.
But yes, so that is
real shit, because I rely, but I know when you giving somebody shit, you gonna have.
Okay, so how do you feel I took that clip out of context?
Because
all right,
when I see that it's trying to paint Kirk as a monster because he's going to force his 10-year-old daughter to have a child.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
But as somebody who's anti-abortion, that's his stance. He will force his daughter to have the child because he feels as though life is precious or whatever it is. And he sees the fetus as a life. So he's like, my daughter will have that baby. That's his take.
Yeah. But if you let the rest of the video play, I mean, it's subjective. Everybody's going to feel differently watching that. But if you just have that short video, it makes it seem like he's a monster. I don't care. I'm anti-abortion. She having a baby. You know, it could be for anything, because my way or the highway or whatever the case may be, bro. Everybody's not informed on Kirk and his reasonings why. And if
So now you get to do it. Explain it then. Justify a man forcing his 10-year-old daughter to have a baby. Go ahead, do it.
Let the video
a
play.
Baby from a rapist, by the way. Let's see.
And gives you his reasonings why people would understand it. They may not agree with it, but they'll understand it, and they'll take a blow away from how they're initially feeling about him being a monster.
Well, they'll see him still as a monster, because no matter how much you explain it from a religious standpoint,
that's your opinion.
But that was my whole point. Do you remember what the greater point?
Right, you accuse him of taking him out of context. You don't see a guy that forces his 10-year-old daughter who got raped to have the rapist's baby, and what he would do to her body and put her life in danger and all of that, the trauma. And all. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, 10-year-olds don't even fucking understand how babies are made. Right? Typically, 10-year-olds don't even understand that shit. And so you have an opportunity. Your daughter is assaulted. You take her to the hospital. She gets checked out, whatever. Come to find out she's pregnant. She don't need to know that, right? You give her the medication early on. There ain't no heartbeat. There are no brain waves. There ain't no nothing. And so then, you know what I'm saying? It's sorted out.
That whole section was, that section was about the fact that some people view him as a monster, including me. I don't like the guy. I didn't think his politics were good. That's my personal opinion. I think I'm free to say that. And I played clips that, to me, showcase his stances on things that I just don't agree with and I think are disgusting. Forcing your 10-year-old daughter to have a baby, okay, that after she was raped, okay? You could say it's great for religious reasons. You could give whatever justification you want. There's nothing in there that took him out of context. His stance was,
because if you having that short snippet, people are not going to know why he's doing it. They're just going to know he's doing it. If he gives justification of why, and he gave very clear reasons of why, that's going to make some people look at it different. You're putting this, you know what I mean? Like, it's like showing a video of somebody shooting somebody in the head, but just randomly, but you figure out they like killed my mom, then it makes sense.
No, because the people who are following this, or people who are even tuning into this stuff, know that
does this man not understand that the people who think the idea of forcing a 10-year-old girl to give birth to her rapist child, does he not get that in of itself is what people find disgusting? There is no justification for it. There is no argument they could make that would allow people to feel better about forcing a 10-year-old girl to give birth to her rapist's child. There are no arguments. It's all nasty. And every single person that pushes this shit is morally inconsistent when it comes to the death penalty, and almost damn near pretty much every American Christian, at least, when it comes to the death penalty and when it comes to war. They're all morally inconsistent. They have no problem with people dying in those instances, children even. So I could give two shits about what you think in regards to when the soul enters the child. Yeah, Thomas Aquinas, who is a very well-respected church father, Christian philosopher and pastor, Thomas Aquinas taught that the soul doesn't enter the body of a child, a fetus, for several days. I believe he said that it was 40 days for a boy and 90 days for a girl, who God knows how he fucking knew that shit. Jesus must have whispered it in his ear or some shit. But yeah, so this idea that throughout history, there has been this consistent ideology within Christianity that the soul has entered the vessel. You know, think about in the book of Genesis. Have you ever thought about this? Is it not possible, just as the body, the case, the shell was formed out of dirt in regards to Adam before the soul entered into him, before the breath of life entered into him? Is it not possible that as the body is being formed in the womb of a woman, that the soul is not yet there? Many Christians thought that over the millennia. You don't know, do you? Why don't Christians name their children before they're born? Why don't they have funerals for miscarriages? This is just a means of controlling women. That's all it is. This is all it is, a means of controlling women and forcing the growth of the population so that the population can get more workers. You have to remember, these are the same people who, you know what I'm saying, blessed and sanctioned slavery. This is about accumulating power and resources. That's it. That's why women, this restriction was placed on a woman, because they need more men, they need more workers, they need more servants, they need more donors.
Charlie is a political speaker who's incredibly Christian. So
you're making that assumption, though, bro. Like, you're making that assumption because now since Kirk has died, there are so many people that are just now learning about Kirk.
This nigga defending a man he don't even know. You don't know that Charlie Kirk is a Christian? Oh my God.
There's so many people that didn't know before. There's so many people that didn't know before. You put that narrative out.
Can I ask you?
This is a big reason why so many people don't like Kirk, because they get so many of these short reels taken out of context.
But they're not out of context. It's not a context.
It is not.
No, it's not. It's not. Stevie, if someone says, I'm anti-abortion, I'm a Christian, we know why you don't want an abortion to happen.
In that clip you put, he didn't say he was Christian, though. He just said, she just gave an example and he said no, she can have a baby. He didn't say he was Christian.
This guy was all over the world, all over the news, and he was constantly
making an assumption.
No, I'm not making an assumption. Everybody who saw that clip of him getting murdered.
Bro, this is bootlicking. This is fucking dancing on white man dick like I ain't never seen. How you go crash out defending a nigga you don't even know? And I don't even mean personally. I mean, you didn't know that Charlie Kirk is a Christian? Okay, done.
Knew he was a political speaker who's Christian. There's not a person who didn't see that clip, who didn't see the news reports, who didn't know what he was. You're acting like I took an obscure person.
That's cap. That's not true. That's not true. You can't speak for everybody in the world, dog.
That's not out of context, Bob.
That's the whole basis of his abortion argument. Are you dumb? Charlie Kirk's whole argument for abortion is based on Christian ideology. That's it. His entire argument. Wow.
That's not out of context.
Wow. Nah,
and they don't know who the fuck he is.
Insane to me.
That's false, bro.
He has the very standard cookie cutter Christian view on it. There's nothing.
Regardless, you're making the assumption that people know, dog, and that's a dangerous game. You got to give them.
That's not an assumption. That's not an assumption, boss. I'm sorry. Anybody who's following this knows he's a Christian political speaker. I'm sorry, but I'm just not buying that. In fact, everyone's been introducing him as such, so we know why he does not like abortion. I don't need to see 5 minutes.
You know, and a lot of people do know. Everybody doesn't know, dog. And
he's acting like it makes a difference, like as if people heard that the reason he would force his 10-year-old daughter to give birth to his rapist child is because he's Christian, then people are going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, no, that's fine. That makes it all okay. All of the abuse and trauma associated with that, that's fine. Fuck that girl.
You got to be fair and give the
go Jesus.
Reason why. You got to get the justification why. If you just say he's doing this, they go, oh, he's a motherfucker because he's going to force a 10-year-old to have a fucking daughter. But if you go let the shit play and he gives the fucking girl the business of why, he made her look stupid.
So give us the argument. Defend his claim. Defend it. Go ahead. Let's hear it.
To me, I mean,
but that's because you're probably anti-abortion. Am I right?
No, I don't know. I could care less. I respect.
I could care less. This man. Who is watching this guy? Is anybody watching this guy? Oh, this nigga is such a. He won't claim that he right, but he talking about leftist this and those people on the left. But he's too fucking chicken shit to just say, yeah, I'm a black fucking conservative, man. I'm just like Brandon Tatum, Candace Owens, fucking Uncle Ruckus, bro. That's me. Claim that shit, nigga. Perfect. And then on top of that, he can't even say where he stands on abortion. That's crazy to me, man.
Stance. I'm not pro. I'm not anti. I respect his stance. I don't agree with it, of course, but I respect it because he's standing on the team.
Okay. But
that is not a position on abortion. It's either you are okay with women have the right to have an abortion or you're not. There's no two ways about it. There ain't no in between. The only in between is if you're against it, except in certain cases. But the second you say except in certain cases, which is why you got to respect the Charlie Kirks of the world, and I mean that facetiously, but you got to respect the Charlie Kirks of the world who are at least ideologically consistent in that small arena, which of course isn't surprising because it's his opportunity to control the bodies of women. So of course he's going to go hard in the paint where that's concerned. Right. But, you know what I'm saying? If you are okay with abortion in certain instances, then you are now acknowledging that the life of a child isn't sacred, that there are some instances where it's okay to kill children. Now, we know that's what Charlie really believes because he's supporting what's going on in the Middle East. He's a grifter, he's a con artist, he's a liar, truly a disgusting human being. But besides that, except in the case of rape, incest, and the life of the mother, but I'm against it, I'll take that as a legitimate middle ground. I'll take that. But because there is some logic behind it. There is some rationality behind it. But besides that, it's either you're okay with it or you're not okay with it. It sounds like you're okay with it, but you want to pander to your conservative Christian audience and you want them to believe that you're somewhat against it. You're being a pussy. That's what you're doing.
My point still 100% stands. At the end of the day, if you are going to force a 10-year-old to have a baby because you believe abortion is wrong, it's okay for people to say you're a disgusting person. And other people can agree with your stance and say you're cool. My entire point was...
That was my argument. My argument was you took about the context. People can say what they want to say, but
okay.
about the context, you're manufacturing a narrative.
I'm not manufacturing a narrative. The narrative was very clear. He's a Christian man. He's against abortion. Super basic.
You didn't have Christian in that clip, though.
I didn't have to because everyone knows who he is. But
everybody does not know.
Okay, we'll agree to disagree. We'll agree to disagree, but I think that's not taking someone out of context. If someone says I'm a Muslim, if someone says I'm a Muslim and I'm a no, I think you're reaching. I think you're definitely reaching, but it's okay.
How am I reaching?
You're reaching.
How am I reaching?
He's the most viral person right now.
Narrative, bro. He said I'm gonna force the 10-year-old to have a fucking baby. That's it.
No.
That's all everybody gonna see. There's no more context. You didn't give a motherfucker the opportunity to explain why.
No. He's the most viral person in the world. People know he's a political commentator. They know he's Christian. I'm not buying that, but we'll agree to disagree. That's not taking someone out of context. If you're not an unknown person, we know where you're standing. We know what you're there for. But we'll agree to disagree. This is another point you made, and this is one I thought was crazy. You played the other clips of Kirk. You kind of said there's nothing bad about this when he said he wanted Biden to be executed or given the death penalty. You don't think that people should hate somebody like that, or some people might hate somebody for that reason? For saying violent things like that?
Yeah. That's their opinion.
Another point that you made.
So you're okay with him, Charlie Kirk, pushing the narrative that there are some people who deserve to be killed because of where they stand politically. Cool.
I played a second clip, and this is probably one of the wilder clips. A young man goes up to Charlie Kirk.
Well, Charlie, to be fair, Charlie would have phrased it as for Biden's crimes against America, which what the fuck does that mean? There are Arkansas farmers starving in the middle of the country right now because of Trump's policies. Does that also constitute as a crime against the American people? These guys are fucking light work, man.
Debate, and he says to him, hey, what do you think about school lunches for kids? And Charlie laughs him. He says, there's no starvation in America. We have an obesity problem. Nobody here is going without food. And then you agreed with him.
Bro, only clowns debate at universities, bro. Only clowns debate where that's their whole thing. I'm not saying you never can engage with people at the collegiate level intellectually, but like take a look at religion, for instance. The jokers, the clowns, they go to colleges and try to debate people. The real heavy hitters, both for and against the various religions, whether we're talking Christianity, Islam, or people who represent the atheist side or the humanitarian side, or the humanist side, I should actually say, they go and they debate with actual experts, people with PhDs who've written books on the topic. Only fucking clowns and jokers made their whole shtick debating low information college students who are just trying to fuck and get a degree in business.
Said there's no starvation in America. Go get food stamps. You can get food at churches. There's no reason to starve. Do you remember that?
Yeah, there's no reason to starve in America. It's like 1% of households have like technically a hunger issue, bro, but people are not starving to death in America, bro. Motherfuckers are fat as hell.
Okay.
That's a fact.
And see, this is the problem I have.
Did this nigga not go to school in America? Did he never run into the kid who didn't have lunch money in America? That happens.
with like people who are pro.
There are kids that are hungry. There are kids that are not eating well at home.
For not you specifically, but people like Charlie Kirk, they're so obsessed with keeping fetuses alive, they pretend it's like this big virtue. And then when a child is born, they're like, fuck you, your parents take care of you. It's actually probably one of the most hypocritical, and this is why I think Charlie Kirk is probably a shitty person to me, is that he spent all this time being anti-abortion, but when it comes to every government initiative that's meant to protect kids and keep them good, he was always against it. And to me, it's like, what's the fucking point of keeping this fetus alive if when it comes out, you're like, yo, fuck you, kid. And that's what he did. He said that guy was...
He said, fuck you, kid?
No, he did it, but he might as well have when he's constantly championing everything that's anti-public sector, or sorry, government-involved taking care of kids. Like even you saying there's no starvation is like so disingenuous. If you just Google it, there's like so many kids today here in America, you could look it up, the statistics, that have malnutrition, that have food scars.
Charlie Kirk truly was a piece of shit, dude. This nigga not even loyal to white people, bro. You know how many white people are on food stamps? You know how many white people need government assistance to help raise their children? And that was MAGA's base, bro. Oh my God. Jeez, man.
They have all these problems. It stunts their growth. It fucks them up in terms of their academic success. And for you guys to sit there and think that food lunches for kids is a crazy idea and parents should take care of them. Some parents are dog shit. Some parents don't take care of their kids. And so that's why these school lunches happen.
The Christian thing to, oh my God, the fact that these people wear the name Christian makes me sick, dude. Because suffer unto me the little children. Whatever happened to that shit? Huh? Whatever happened to, you know what I'm saying, the story of the Good Samaritan? You're calling yourself a Christian? You're an elitist. That's what you are. You're not loyal to anybody. You're not even, and I'm not even talking to Stevie right now. This guy's a clown. But Charlie, he not loyal to white people because he's trying to fuck over poor white people. He's not loyal to Christians because so many of the positions he holds are anti-Christian. You know what I'm saying? Sell all that you have and follow me. What's the big deal? What's the big deal if a little bit of your tax money goes to feeding children who need a hot meal at school? Right. You understand that unemployment is a mandatory and necessary part of capitalism. A capitalistic society can only operate if they're unemployed people. Because if they're unemployed people, the power of the economy stays in the hands of the employers, right? There is more demand for jobs than supply. If everybody was already employed and a business person wanting to expand his business, he no longer has the option of going and hiring the unemployed guy who's desperate for work, right? He now has to, pay people more, have more incentives to try and get somebody to, it would put all the power in the hands of the workers. And so Charlie Kirk is a capitalist, which means he wants a society where we continue to have unemployed people. It is impossible. Just think about it. Imagine if everybody was employed right now. There's 100% employment. That's a dream that Charlie Kirk wants to tell you, that that's possible. And the only thing restricting that, stopping that from happening are lower taxes for business owners and lazy, good for nothing fucks who don't want to work. That's the only reason there are any unemployed people. Okay, let's say we fix those things. Businesses don't even gotta pay taxes, right? And we come up with the super serum to make everybody hardworking and reliable. All right, boom, 100% employment. What happens when a company needs one more worker? What do? You're fucked at that point. As the employer, there's nobody. Now, you got to go to somebody else who is already qualified and say, hey, I'm going to pay you even more than you're getting paid over there to come work for us. Down to the guy who pushes the carts in the parking lots at supermarkets, he would be seen as a valuable person, a valuable employee. And that would do what? It would put a lot of power in the opinions and the desires of the workers. It would give a lot of power to the workers. So understand this, that unemployment is a necessary part of a capitalistic society. It has to work that way. And so since that's the society that Charlie wants, he needs to understand that there are going to be some people who need welfare because the unemployed are a necessary part of the society he loves. You're going to have people who don't get paid that much because of the surplus of workers, so they can be underpaid. Thus, it makes it hard to have a family But you know what could happen is those people who can't afford children, maybe they could elect to have an abortion. Oh no, they have to have the kid, right? In Charlie's world. So they can't get a good high paying job. They can't make enough money. They can't abort the kid. Kid's hungry. What now, Charlie? It's fucking stupid, dude.
So that kids who go to school get a meal. But people like Charlie Kirk, and then you did the same thing, are like, oh, the parents take care of it. That's fucking stupid. And I'm like, do you guys even Google this stuff? Do you guys even look into it? But you speak confidently against this stuff that's hurting hundreds and thousands of kids. And I'm like, I don't get it.
I'll ask you a question. Which one is higher, the amount of abortions in America or the amount of starving children in America?
The amount of starving kids in America.
That's cap.
That's cap? Did you Google it? Did you Google it?
No, you don't need to Google it. This is the people on the right. They just make shit up. Bro, this was not even difficult. This was light work. How many starving children in America? Nearly 14 million children live in food insecure households, meaning their family has trouble providing enough food for every member because of a lack of money or other resources. Now, someone might say, oh, well, then you can go to a food pantry. All right, so what the fuck difference does it make if the food comes from a food pantry or from the cafeteria? A handout is a handout. Government assistance is government assistance. Why do you give a fuck? You're acknowledging that there needs to be things in place to allow hungry people to go get something to eat, right? So what's the big difference? Why can't they put it in school to make it convenient for the child? There is no logical reason. It's just that you're full of hatred. You just hate helping people. It's too inconspicuous when a child is able to just get some hot food in the morning. You want them to have the shame of going to the food pantry to get food so that they can eat. You don't like the idea of them just joining the line and are able to get food from the cafeteria and feel normal like everybody else, and nobody needs to know that his household is food insecure. You don't like that. You like shaming these people. You're an elitist. You're an elitist prick. That's what you are.
Don't need facts. But you know what? Facts don't care about how you feel about it. I need you to Google it.
Okay.
Go Google.
Somebody Google it in the chat.
Okay.
But I'm not. Let me figure out the best way to articulate this, because you have this anger towards Kirk and me and whomever else because we don't support government, not even support government assistance. We're saying the parents should do it. But
wait. So you're okay with some government assistance? So what's wrong with this government assistance?
Problem, bro. There's so many different ways that people can eat outside of their parents. There's, bro, food stamps, churches, charities, bro. Like, there's no reason for somebody to starve.
So do you want a 7-year-old or 8-year-old to go to get food stamps or go to church and get food?
Their parents should go.
What if the parent doesn't want to go? What if their parent doesn't want to go?
You saw in the video I said it, bro. I'll be jealous when I see the amount of money these people have on food stamps, bro. They be running these EBTs up $400, $500, $600, bro. Like, there's no excuse for somebody to be broke.
$400, $500, $600. How much do you think it costs to feed a family? About $400, $500, $600. So thank God the government is giving them at least that. Thank God.
Unless they got, they're picky, they're bougie about what the fuck they want to put in their body, dog. But beggars can't be choosers, bro. Like, you can't have no filet mignon when you can't afford it, dog.
Okay.
This nigga talking about filet mignon, nigga. We talking about 2% milk and a slice of pizza or a fucking taco, nigga. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Live in a capitalistic country, dog. It is what it is.
Let's take 2 steps back. All right. Let's take 2 steps back. Do you agree with there's a lot of bad parents out there?
Absolutely.
Do you know that there's a lot? Hold on. Do you agree that there's a lot of parents who neglect those children?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think that those kids should suffer because they have bad parents?
No.
Okay.
I don't think they should, but bad shit happens.
But bad shit happens.
You're just gonna let kids suffer when the?
No, I'm not gonna let them. Bro.
See, they're cold. They're unfeeling. They have no heart. These people, they're evil. They literally are evil. White supremacy is the evil that has made him an evil man. He doesn't realize he's evil, but he's evil as fuck, dude. That's crazy to me.
Like, if they're going to school,
we live in a country where we literally throw away half of the food that we produce, essentially. Something like that. Some fucking ridiculous metric tons of food every year. going to landfills. We live in this country where Donald Trump can take the taxpayers' dollar and throw some massive memorial for Charlie Kirk, a man who was not a politician at all. Yes, he was a political influencer, but he wasn't in Congress. He wasn't actually doing anything. You can't justify to me why my taxpayer dollars had to pay for Charlie Kirk's memorial. There is no connection there. He is not doing me any civil service, and he is not a member of Trump's cabinet. There's nothing. Literally just a frivolous whim decision of the president decided to do that, and you are okay with that. I imagine you're fine with the fact that Donald Trump did that, I'm sure, but you know what I'm saying, the couple hundreds of dollars that it would cost to feed children in a country that brings in billions of dollars, if not trillions of dollars every year, a few $100 per child. Oh, man.
I mean, this is a hypothetical.
Well, no, hold on. What did you? If they're going to school, what? If they're going to school, they can get a free lunch there?
If they're going to school, I'm assuming that teachers are aware that
this nigga probably had free lunch when he was a kid. Look at him.
See someone losing weight.
But that's what the program's for, Stevie. That's what I'm saying. The program is meant to give kids lunches at school.
No, that's not where I'm going with it. I'm talking about like teachers making calls to get, the correct parties involved to address a child, to find a potential food for them, so they can take advantage of the surplus of food that is available for people in these situations. Like the homeless don't go hungry, bro. They can go get a meal if they want to get a meal.
You're comparing children to homeless. Like, what are we talking about? See, I want y'all to just think about it. So there's shitty parents out there, okay? And you want teachers to call the shitty parents to be like, hey, be better parents. Or you want to call child services? You want to call child services? You want to put them in foster care?
It may be better than having the shooty ass parents.
Have you looked into foster care, Stevie? Have you Googled foster care?
But you're describing these parents as
our infrastructure is crumbling, our roads are falling apart. Unemployment is terrible, or at least those who are employed, so many of them can barely feed themselves. This is the kind of dude that would look at a hungry child. Like, imagine like a 7-year-old little girl. And for him, make it a white girl, because that's going to make it even more significant to him. A poor little cute little white girl with a little red nose and blue eyes and blonde hair, and she's wearing a pretty little dress, and she walks up to Stevie and she's like, I'm so hungry, I haven't eaten. Because again, white people are the people who take the most of the welfare in this country, so I'm not making a fantasy here. I'm so hungry, Mr. Knight. You look at her in her face and be like, shit, tell your dad to work harder. That's tough.
Shit, bro, like it is bad shit happens.
I know. I cover them every day. There's a lot of ain't shit parents. There's a lot of ain't shit. You cover them. How many videos have you done about baby mamas? How many videos have you done about baby mamas and dog shit parents? If I go to your channel right now, I'll find dozens, hundreds of videos. So you want teachers to call those parents and be like, hey, feed your kids.
You're saying that I'm telling teachers to call the parents. I never said that. I said they can call parties that do this for a living to find children the resources that they need.
Wow. And guess what? What if we just cut out the middleman and make it so that the resources are available in the building that these children have to stay in for 9 hours a day? How about we make it simple and easy? Oh man, how do we know which kids are going to show up hungry? Man, that kind of shit's unpredictable. Well, why don't we just have an abundance, a surplus, make sure that no matter what, children can come and they can get some warm to eat. We're not talking about giving them fucking, an endless buffet here, although it would be nice if children could eat freely. We make enough money and we grow enough food to make it happen. We really do. But capitalism wants to fucking make some people starve so that other people can have more than enough. But anyway, that's all food programs are in schools. That's it.
Teachers do this all the time. They'll see a child that may be neglected and they'll make the calls or alert people to, intervene. Right. But I mean, I feel like we're pushing it far out to like specifics of it, bro. At the end of the day, my point of view on it is that it's, abortion is a far larger problem than starvation.
How is it a problem? You said you don't feel any way for or against it. How is it a problem?
Starving children don't starve in America. They may be hungry, but they don't starve. This isn't fucking people. It's not a famish going on. People are not dying because
No, they're not.
A famine.
They're not dying. But
we really shouldn't take this guy seriously. He doesn't even know words.
do you understand?
like hypertension, obesity. There's much more obese kids than there are hungry kids, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the world's not perfect, dog. It's not utopia, bro. So it's like, I get, and then I'm a capitalist, dog. I'm not in support of the government coming out taking care of everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to oppose it. Like,
but you want the government to get involved and stop abortions.
I never said I don't give a fuck about what anybody does with abortion.
Then why is it a problem? I would hope you would give a fuck about something you think is an issue in this country.
But did you say it's a bigger problem?
Yeah, I said it's a big problem.
Got him. This about to be the finisher. Watch, he's about to break his knee.
I didn't give a solution to it. I know it's a problem. But I never said what I want to do about it. I could care less. Like, it is what it is, dog. This life is fucking hard, dog. And some children are born in fucked up circumstances, bro.
So you just let him slide off of that? Pause. Abba, you just gonna let that go?
It is what it is.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. I think a lot of people would hear your stance or hear Charlie Kirk's stance and say, you guys aren't the best people because you don't seem to care about making sure that other people in society are okay, right? You guys are more focused on being capitalists and taking care of yourselves, which is okay. Do that. But if people want to look at you and say, well, you guys spread hate out there or you guys spread selfishness, I think that's okay. I think I'll be allowed to do that.
I never said that was a problem. I said people can say whatever the fuck they want to say. My issue with people was celebrating his death, like championing pom-pom and that shit. That's
yeah,
the epitome of evil to me.
That's the epitome of evil.
Not a right or left thing.
The epitome of evil, being happy that an evil man is no longer going to be pushing his evil shit. But, you know what I'm saying, let's make 10-year-old girls give birth to the babies of their rapists. Let's allow children to go to school hungry because they're not starving. Right, being hungry, that doesn't distract you. It doesn't make it harder for you to sit in class and learn. Just because you're not literally dying from malnutrition and your ribs are showing doesn't mean being hungry can't make it hard for you to do what you need to do in school, in class. Pay attention, stay awake, be focused, get your work done. You need to be properly fed in order to do that. A growing body and a growing brain needs nutrition. And so if you care about the next generation, maybe if you provide these resources for these children, they can be better capitalistic workers, unlike their parents who just couldn't fucking hack it. They couldn't figure out how to get rich in this system. And so at least, you know what I'm saying, their children have a better shot. But to do that, we need to invest in the children. We need to invest in the schools, and we need to make sure the children have what they need to succeed, which includes if they, for whatever reason, their parents can't come up with the food, give them the food. That's it. They can be great parents and they just couldn't hack it in regards to getting the money for the food. That's possible. You go to their households and everything is good. The children aren't being abused, but the pantries are empty. And so what? Would you rather take the children away? Guess what happens when you take the children away? Oh, now the state has to take care of them. So if your two choices are leave the children to be hungry and don't give a fuck about them because you're evil, or take away the children, well, now the state is completely responsible for the well-being of the children, food, shelter, all of it, or you just help that family to cover that little bit of ground that for whatever reason, whether it's because they're irresponsible or because they're just getting fucked by the economy, they're not able to make ends meet all the way. You know what I'm saying?
You think it's more evil to celebrate that man's death than it is for that man to advocate for the fact that children don't get meals?
And again, if you're okay with them getting some form of government assistance, I don't see the fucking problem with that government assistance being doled out in part in the actual school cafeteria. It literally doesn't make a difference.
But they can get meals. Is that the only video you've seen him talk about children?
I'm just saying someone dancing in the room.
Listen,
I think it's bad. No, I agree. I think it's bad that someone danced in the room and thought it was great that Charlie Kirk died. But I also think it's bad that you're out there openly advocating for kids to not get meals in school because we have an obesity problem. I think that's also bad. I think so.
Get meals in school. I'm advocating for kids to take advantage of the surplus of food available to them in different ways that it is.
Yeah.
It's not on somebody to do it, bro. Like, you know,
yes, it is. It is on somebody. Children can't drive, nigga. What the fuck you talking about? Oh, so their parents got to do it. The parents got to go get the government handout. Why they can't just put the handout into school? Dummy.
I get it, but we disagree on that perspective, dog. Like, you think that the government should step in and save the world. If they do it, I'm not gonna contend it. I'm not, do what you want to do, bro. But I understand Kirk's perspective in that.
We pay so much in tax dollars, and most of it goes to the military to do funding wars overseas. I don't think it's so crazy to say, hey man, take 1% of that budget and make sure these kids don't go hungry. Take another 1% of that budget and take care of veterans. But you know, like, maybe that's wrong. I just think it's crazy. Let's be personal.
I wouldn't disagree with you with that, but I don't disagree with Kirk either. I mean, I don't think he should be painted as a demon for having that.
This nigga does not think. He does not have a brain, I don't think. How can you agree with Abba and Charlie when Abba is disagreeing with Charlie? How can you do both at the same time? He's a fence rider. He is a fence rider, a bootlicker. That's sad.
Viewpoint.
I mean, I think it's pretty demonic to
I think a fence riding bootlicker is worse than just a regular bootlicker.
not want kids to have meals personally. That's me.
He never said he didn't want kids that have meals. Is that the only conversation you've seen Abba have discussing that topic?
When he was suggested a food program to make sure that kids who can't get access to good food or decent food or have malnutrition get food, he said, no, that's fucking stupid. Let the parents do it.
Can you answer my question though? Was that the only video did you let that video play and see what else he said in regards to that discussion?
Yeah, I played it.
And what did he say?
He said that he thinks that the parents should take care of it. The state shouldn't be involved.
He said, pull it up right now. I'll see.
You can pull it up, but that's what he said. He said the state should not be involved.
No, bro, you're a victim to the same thing everybody else going through, just getting sucked in by these reels, dog. He's named all these different avenues, these different ways of children to receive food.
See, here's the thing. He's just a bootlicker. He's just an Uncle Tom. He's just a Charlie Glazer, because he can't even articulate the argument. That's why he keeps saying, no, you just got to go watch the video. No. You see, if you watch the video the way Charlie explains it, it makes a whole lot of sense. But I can't do it for you. I can't articulate it. See, it's one thing if you heard it from Charlie and you're like, damn, that shit makes sense. That's why I'm going to found my position on this logic. And so that's now what you're going to articulate here. But you can't, because you don't even know it. That's the definition of being a grifter. You can't believe something you don't even know. How can you believe in something you can't even articulate? It's not possible. That's the definition of being a shill. You don't even know what you're pushing. You just put the sticker on your back, you wear the jersey, and you're like, yeah, go this team. Whatever the fuck they saying, they're right. Think for yourself. You can't even think for yourself, man.
Food. You're just
hold up. How does a hungry kid get food?
I gave you one example.
What is it?
If he's at school and teachers are aware of what the fuck's going on and they see a damn child coming in there looking emaciated.
Why you gotta be emaciated? He doesn't need to be emaciated in order for it to affect his ability to learn and affect his health. People get sick far long before they are emaciated due to malnutrition.
I don't know. I don't know what teachers, but I've seen instances where teachers step in and get the correct party involved to help said children.
Okay, so you want the state to get involved to make sure that kid gets school? You literally just like, that's what you said. You want this? Do you know this?
I never said want. I said these resources are available to them.
Now here's all the rest of this fucking bullshit. He's okay with the state paying for the school bus. He's okay with the state paying for the books, the computers, the dwelling, the building, the repairs, the staff, the AC, the electricity, the water. All of that gets paid for by the government, by the way. He's okay with that, but he wants to draw the line at feeding the children. Do you see how evil these people really are? It's evil, it's stupidity, and some of it is just fucking straight up brainwashing.
But that's what your solution is, right?
That's not my solution. I'm giving you the fact that there's different avenues and resources for children to get food if they need it.
Okay.
I'm not saying what I want. I'm saying what's available to them. There's no reason to starve, dog.
All right. Hey, listen, we'll agree to disagree on this point. No reason for kids to, but statistically speaking, every year there's so many kids who are suffering from malnutrition. That's what the numbers say. We'll move on to the next point.
And there's so many people that die from car accidents, bro. Fucked up shit happens. Like, we can't save everybody.
So why you care about Charlie Kirk? Shit happens. Fucked up shit happens. What happened to Charlie was a fucked up thing. It happens. Why you don't take that attitude with him?
Bro, like, it is.
But just because we can't save everybody doesn't mean we don't try.
But there's avenues for them to be safe, just maybe not with this school.
Yeah, like yes, car accidents happen every year. Doesn't mean we don't try to.
All right, so then we should make it mandatory that children find their way to school as well. Why stop at school lunches? Let's get rid of fucking school buses too, right? Because that's coming out of the taxpayers' pocket as well. Fuck it, get rid of books, get rid of supplies, all of that. You pay for it. You the parent. There are places like that, by the way.
Cars safer doesn't mean we don't make roads better.
And there's ways for children to get food.
Okay, man. I'm gonna disagree. I think that stance is crazy.
You don't think there's other ways for children to get food outside?
I don't know. Have you ever been a kid? You think kids just know where to get free food every day? You truly think kids know what the resources are? Like, what are we talking about, man?
I don't know what their day-to-day is, man, but maybe there's
this guy don't got kids. I don't know what their day-to-day is crazy. This guy's neither been a child or has children.
Teachers can express this to children to like educate them on, there's like sex reproduction type of information they get. There's like if there's a potential for a problem to be had, I'm assuming that there may be ways for schools or whomever to express these resources to kids to make them aware of it at least. Like if they come in hungry, hey, we have this available if you are hungry. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how it is, but there are different ways for children to get food. I'm just making sure off the top of my head of how that connection may occur.
Yeah. I just think in terms of a worldview, we fundamentally disagree on this topic, but it's fine. We can move on to the next topic because I don't want to laugh in circles.
All right, guys, so we're going to take a break right there. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how this video does, I'll do a part 2. That's what it's going to come down to. But leave your comments down below, like the video, and leave a comment if you really want to help it perform well, if you want me to tackle the second half of this debate. But thank you for watching. Peace out.